You are a commissioner.
Okay, Bannock County Commissioners are in session. First item on our agenda is Board of County Commissioners invoices, Commissioners report. So I looked over the Commissioners report. Just had one that I had a conversation with Christy, and other than that, I was okay.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Commissioner's report as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And with the invoices. We have a couple of them that are ARPA, and one of them is the architectural services for the classroom and the event center office. So,
That's half of the total fee that we're in charge.
yeah. But we should have drawings and should be moving forward.
Do you have any questions on the invoices?
I do not. And then this one is for wet cells and stuff out of the jail.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the invoices as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next on our agenda, we have the alcohol license, and this is a transfer. Looks like new ownership down in Downey.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the alcohol licenses as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Charity, brings you up.
Charity Staggs, Southeast Idaho Council of Governments, here regarding the Lava Ranches Fuels Reduction Project. For a little bit background information, the procurement of this contractor for this project had been awarded just as fire season started. It's been a little bit of a weird fire season. So the contractor has been weary to go out there and to sign a contract because they don't want to go out there just to be shut down, because they would be. And now that we're in almost September, they are running out of time to meet the deadline, which is in November. So they are requesting a deadline, an extension to the deadline in their contract, which we would have to request from IDL. And that's what I'm here today, is asking if you would be in approval of requesting a deadline extension. And if so, my recommendation is for June. Assuming that the fire season ends and the contractor can get out there in October, they would finish February or March, and then recommending a deadline extension to June would give us enough grace period to do our final inspections, touch-ups for the contractor if needed, and get our final paperwork completed.
I have no problem with that. There's a lot of brown out there. I just do not have a fire.
Yeah, and it's the
Plain
geography of
simple.
the area. We really want to be careful right there.
Yeah. Any concerns?
No.
Okay, a motion on that?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the contract extension as requested.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Scott?
Good morning, Commissioner. Scott Crowther, Event Director, Business Manager.
And I'm Kia Shaw, I'm the branch manager for the Idaho Food Bank.
So the first thing we have is for the Idaho Food Bank to utilize the parking lot by kind of our upper grandstand arena for food bank. Do you want to talk about this? We've been doing this for several years now.
Absolutely. So this is for our Thanksgiving distribution for Bannock County. We serve anywhere between 900 to 1,200 families in about a 4.5 hour period. Utilizing this space has been extremely beneficial over the last several years because it's really hard to do this anywhere else, honestly. We utilize both the parking lots in a way that the gravel lot, we stage cars in so we keep them off the road and keep people safe. and then do the actual distribution in the adjacent paved lot next to it. And it's just been a blessing for the food bank and our neighbors that we're serving to be able to do this. We can't do it without the help of the county by utilizing this space, and then also we use about 125 plus volunteers to do this distribution on the day of. And I do have a map if somebody is more of a visual, you want to see how we actually do this.
I've actually been up there and participated. And that's what I would ask, is that you make sure that you send to Christie the dates. And we'd like to put that out as the county, our employees or elected officials to come up and participate in that. It's very worthwhile. Any questions?
Do you know the dates yet?
It's going to be November 23rd. It's the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Okay. No, I don't have any questions.
Motion
And
on-
there's not a fee associated with this, so it's really just a use, the ability to use the area without a fee.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jill.
The next contract I have is from the Army National Guard, and it's kind of a joint Utah and Idaho National Guard. The representative for that cannot be here, they're traveling today. And so I told him that I would present this on his behalf. So this is part of the Civilian Support Team Hazmat Training. These folks do nuclear fallout recovery and cleanup. They would like to use our facility on the 19th of November up by B Building. They're going to be using a lot of the outside stuff, and then they'll use B Building a little bit for a debrief. But they want to hold a drill where they bring in the Idaho National Guard team from Boise, Utah's National Guard team from Ogden, and they kind of meet here in the middle, and then they perform an exercise for the day. It should not impact any of our operations. I've talked to them about people that access horse stalls up there. They're going to make sure that the people, they don't interfere with any of the other operations we have going on up there. And I think it's a pretty decent exercise for these guys, and they're requesting a fee waiver for that.
I don't have any problems with that either.
Just one full day? they do
Yes.
this?
Yep, just one full day.
Yeah. So, you're good.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. I guess you're taking care of Hal for Lisa also? So you're on the agenda twice.
Yes, and because of other scheduling conflicts internally, we went different directions. Hal Jensen, Planning Director, Bannock County. I have with me a plat for signature. It is Mount Bonneville Estates, Phase 3. This is an item that Mr. John McNabb has been working on with us for some time. We now have completed construction and ready for signature if you are ready to accept and approve.
Okay. I didn't have any problem with it. Did you?
Nope.
A motion on this one then?
And Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve and authorize signature on this plat request.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that pen for me, Ernie.
All right.
Next item on the agenda, seeking approval from commission to move forward to advertise for code enforcement officer. Budget was approved on Tuesday. We realized that we can't make any formal offers or et cetera until the fiscal year, but we would like to get a jump on that and start that process now. Work with Matthew with HR and get it advertised, see what kind of response we receive, and hopefully be prepared this fall to get that position filled.
This year's a little bit different. We don't have a 10/1 start date because we have that 27th pay period. So the effective date would be 10/5.
It could be higher.
Yeah, but we've already talked about that.
Okay.
I just wanted to be clear for the board.
Yeah, that's, I don't see any problem of putting it out there and seeing,
Yeah, we
We
can
get
get it posted if you'd like us to.
yeah, do you have any concerns with that?
No, Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the request as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Daniel?
Good morning. Dan Kendall, Facilities Director.
Dylan Evans, landfill manager.
Dylan up at the fairgrounds has it's basically a trailer that they
Up at
use
the
for
land-
the removal
The
of.
landfill?
Yeah.
You said
That's it.
fairgrounds.
Sorry.
Fairgrounds.
Sorry. Landfill.
Old days.
For the record.
It's a fun place.
It is the landfill.
Landfill, yes. About 15 years ago, we bought a trailer that was already probably 20 years old and put some metal siding on it, and they've been using it ever since. Since then, the floor is basically caving in. As you walk on it, it bounces. I was just wanted to ask for some guidance or permission to maybe think about building like a pole barn or getting some bids on a pole barn to, rather than repair that trailer.
Okay, and where's the funds coming from?
I don't know. Wanted to get permission to get bids first and then talk with Christie, and
We didn't anticipate a budget for this, so it would have to be pretty dang cheap to be able to pay for it next year.
I think it's pretty dang cheap.
Okay.
If we went to pole barn, I don't think it has to be anything fancy. Dylan will tell us more about that, but
Yeah, I really more of just something to keep the sun off you. It's for where we remediate the Freon and like AC units and stuff like that. It has to be done in open air anyway, but it's a little bit unfortunate, just the design that we have right now, lugging heavy fridges up a ramp into that building that's really not designed for that kind of work. I think it's starting to,
So is this right there where the or where the fridges and stuff are up on the
Yep.
landing then?
Yep.
that
one
little
that's kind of
building?
in that little corner right there. Yeah, it works okay, but you know, when you're that old and not really designed for that kind of industrial work, I was just thinking if we just had a flat slab on grade with something to keep the sun and the snow off of you and close a little bit for the tools. That's,
I think fixing the floor is gonna be, it's not worth it. It's not safe, right? I mean, it's getting to the point where we need to get something done.
Well, we had an incident with an employee with Freon not long ago, right?
mhm.
So we probably need to look at the conditions and how we do it. And so I don't see a problem of getting a bid, seeing where, what, how, and then we can have a further discussion about it.
Okay.
Concerns with that, John?
Nope.
So let's look and see what's available. I mean, so,
All right,
Perfect.
thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Shanda. So, let's go to Matthew.
Okay, Matthew Phillips, Human Resources and Risk Management Director. Several items before you, so I'll try to get through them as concisely as I can. First of all, we were, just this week, I received the renewal policy for iCrimp which is our multi-lines policy for general liability, property, auto, cyber, crime, employee benefits, employee liability, a lot of our general property and casualty insurance, basically. So I've just brought it before you for approval of renewal. Briefly, the premium did go up by quite a bit. Mutual insurance was warning us even as early as June, as the reinsurance market has been very tough. And so we got a quote of an increase of 22%. I tried to push back on ICRIMP as much as I could, but I think they're pretty much taking that approach across the board for counties, cities, and most public entities that they're insuring. And Chrissy, I believe you had this estimate, right, that you worked into the budget already. So, and then part of it is, as well as we have, if you look at some of the attachments, we've had a 149% loss ratio since 2019. A lot of that, of course, due to our large boiler room project over at the prison. So our losses with what they're insuring do, I think it is understandable. And so the total price, upcoming renewal price, would be $790,448. Just as a, I've also included a blue line copy of what is changing, and then just a summary as well of what is changing. One thing that I do want to highlight is their deductible structure is changing, and just to make auditing aware, their property or their auto mobile equipment is, that deductible is dropping to $1,500 per incident, but other property structures are increasing to $10,000. So before, last year previously, it was $5,000 for everything. So they've decreased it on auto and equipment, which actually kind of makes sense and is more in line with industry standards. But just be aware that when we have claims for larger property structures, that deductible will be increasing. A few other things to point out: asbestos cleanup and remediation, they've reduced to $100,000. And then for pipe fittings or failures, the deductible will be 10% of the loss as well. So they've changed their deductible structures quite a bit. And then there's other
And
different...
that was the 5,000 or 10%, whichever was higher, right?
I believe so, yes.
I tried to listen to that.
Yes, no, they've made several
I got
changes.
bored, I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, insurance can be a dry thing, but I've included in the packet their reductions. They did broaden some items, and they did clarify some things, but I think the things of greatest note is just when we have claims, our deductible structure will be changing for the upcoming year. So I've included, do you have that packet there? Okay, I think on the third or fourth page on the bottom, just on the policy renewal page, the policy declaration page, I created a signature for approval, right? If
Motion?
if the county is moving forward with renewal of its ICRIMP's multi-policy insurance policy, multi-lines insurance policy.
Okay,
So you're good.
yeah. We don't have a lot of choices. I'm not happy,
Well, I
but
guess
I'm
we're
good.
not, yeah, we're not good, but, okay, yeah. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request as presented.
Got a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next is also related to an insurance renewal for the JAM plan, medical, dental, and vision medical plan for employees. The approval I'm requesting is actually that we approve the JAM plan program manager, who is also our insurance broker, Mutual Insurance Associates, to sign off on this Blue Cross proposal. So just as an overall summary, they did decrease the dental administration fee a little bit by 1.6%, but that was to try to offset the reinsurance increase of 4.9%. Again, the reinsurance market on all insurance has been very difficult this year. Initially, though, I believe the Gen Plan and Ernie, I know you sit on that board, so I think they were originally proposing a 16%
That's what
increase.
Blue Cross was
Right.
16%, and they got it down to 4.9.
Right. So the reinsurance negotiations went fairly well on that part. They're estimating claims to increase by 7%, in line with medical inflation. So, so overall, I think it could have been worse, but I've just included a signature there on the second page to approve Mutual Insurance Associates to renew the Gen Plan for the upcoming year. They did, on that second page, it shows that to try to offset some of those Blue Cross administrative increase charges, they created a 3-year agreement with them where it will be held flat this year, increased by 2% each of the next 2 years, and then held flat in 2028. But they did that again as a negotiating tactic to try to decrease the administrative costs.
Any questions? Motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. And for this packet, the final request that I have, and I've been working with Christy in auditing and Alicia in payroll on this, is in the last version of the handbook, there was wording that basically stated for an employee to get holiday pay, they had to work or have paid leave the day before and the day after. For whatever reason, that was not put into the new version of the handbook, even though it was still kept as a procedure by payroll. However, me and Christy and Alicia believe that it's best just to have that clear. And in this version of the policy, that's a pretty common policy to have. And I've seen in other places. I copied a lot of the wording just from the previous handbook to put back in there. I think this is important as we're heading into our end of year holidays for Labor Day, and so on and so forth, that we just have that point clear in case we have any questions from employees. So, and the intent of that is just to make sure that people don't take advantage of holidays, and because a lot of times we have, you might have trouble getting employees to show up that second day after a holiday. So we were just, me and payroll would ask that we can make that brief amendment back into the personnel policy.
And that is standard in most policies. It has been in ours, we just missed it. Any questions? Motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the amendment to the policy as requested.
A motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, switching gears a little bit, this is on the topic of training and leadership training. The county has had a line item budget for training library and trainings, which is 110-109-44501. We anticipate with this next budget cycle, it's going to be transitioning under human resources. However, there's quite a bit of the budget left for this budget year, and so what I'm hoping to do is a couple things. Number one, my first request is that I'd like to have a survey platform for human resources, just so we can send out surveys to our current leadership and see what trainings that they would like to have over the upcoming year, along with any training needs that they feel like their department needs. And then, of course, we could also use that survey platform for evaluating how well our trainings are going. And then we can use it for other reasons as well. Ernie recently asked me to try to get a survey on which vaccines people might want for the health fair, so we could use it for other things like that. However, to do that, I need a HIPAA compliant platform for those type of things. So I found one called JotForm that does offer a HIPAA compliant platform. SurveyMonkey wouldn't offer that unless it was a large enterprise account, and Google Forms doesn't even do HIPAA compliant survey offerings. They allow nonprofits to have half off the first year So I was hoping to try it this first year. The total cost is $594, but I believe that's before tax, so I'm just asking if we can reallocate that or to use that for HR, even though it's in county operations right now. So I've asked for up to $650 to sign on with that survey platform and use it as we're trying to develop a lot of our training initiatives and other HR initiatives.
I don't have any problem. Any concern?
Nope, sufficient funds.
John?
If you need a copy of an ST 101 for tax exempt,
Okay.
just holler.
I've-
Anybody in the office can give you that.
I haven't signed up yet. I copied their terms and conditions. It seems like very similar to what you would see on all these websites we sign up for and say, yes, that's fine. But I've included them. I sent them to Brian Trammell. He didn't voice any concerns, so.
I'd ask you to talk to Adam too. Any program.
Yes, and actually, I'm sorry, I did talk to Adam
Okay.
as well, and he felt like that was a fair price for a HIPAA-compliant platform, because he felt like if we got a larger enterprise account with SurveyMonkey, it would cost more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did have him look at that.
Okay.
I apologize, I didn't mention that.
No, that's fine.
Absolutely.
You're new and I
Absolutely.
like Adam's opinion.
No, absolutely. He is wonderful.
This is just surveys, right? Is all this does?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I can also create forms in it, but the main thing I want to use it for right now is for surveys.
Create forms, what kind of forms?
Automated or online type of forms that maybe people could fill out. But again, the need I'm trying to fill right now is completing different surveys for human resources purposes.
Are there limitations on your being able to create forms and add stuff to this? If we want to go beyond surveys?
No, this should give me full access to their full template library by signing up for this membership.
I'm wondering if this is something that our veteran services might find useful in some way.
It could be. I know our PIO, Emma, she has a SurveyMonkey account. But again, I didn't go with them because they didn't offer HIPAA compliant options.
Right.
So there's a couple different platforms out there. But yeah, they might look at this one or SurveyMonkey, or there's probably other ones out there as well.
I'd just ask that you check with Melissa over at Veteran Services and see
Sure.
if there's something in this that would.
Do they have a need for that right now?
They have a need for HIPAA, I know. They have a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
HIPAA stuff to deal
Yeah.
with. So I don't know if this would fit anything, but just check.
Okay,
See
I'll make a
what
note of
she
that.
has to say.
I'll chat with her.
Motion to move forward with it.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request as presented.
A motion, all in favor, say aye.
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 And the next item on this packet is not necessarily for approval, just a discussion of, again, trying to use this training budget and what it might look like next year. I've created just a brief summary of what I think a leadership development plan could be. I think this is important because a lot of times our employees are only as good as our leaders, and our leaders are only as good sometimes as we train them. And we will have budget for next year, so just trying to plan. Another thing I'd like to use or look at is try to have a kickoff training in September, and then try to create every month or every other month of leadership training that leaders in the county could attend, just to improve their leadership skills. So I know we've worked with Black River in the past. I'd like to continue to look at creating just an MOU with them. Some of the trainings HR I think can develop themselves on processes and procedures that we're trying to clean up and improve upon. But some others, it might be better for an outside vendor to come present some of those personality assessments. And so I'm looking to catch those up for the new leaders that haven't done those. With this year's budget that's still sitting there, we have, I think, over $23,000 left in that budget, so I'm trying to use as much of that budget before the fiscal year end, and then also set us up so that we can move forward with leadership training plan into the next year with that budget.
And I know P&Z's actually used the DISC assessments in hiring process too.
Yeah.
People come in
I don't know if I have
close.
the budget to
No, I just
be
think
that expansive. but it's more just to our about 50 to 60 lead. Okay. So I'll continue. I don't have an MOU for you today, but I'm working with Black River to try to develop that.
Okay.
I think the final item I have for you on the agenda is I'd ask that we move into executive session. It's dealing with a request for additional leave for a single employee.
Okay.
And it's for one of Diane, so if Diane wants to come up.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we enter into executive session under Article Code 74-2061 A and